Hey everyone, we are so excited to have you here today. My name is Jornay Armand. I'm head of educator innovation here at Flipgrid. You see right down here is my colleague Adam. Adam, want to say hi?
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Adam Parker Goldberg, Jornay's colleague and now teammate of. Hold on, now let me look up Yaritza.
Hi, friends. I'm Yaritza Vajalva. I am new to Flipgrid with Ask Yaritza, but I am also a social studies teacher here in Brooklyn, New York. I am so excited to be here.
So, guys, I have to tell you, since April, Yaritza has been utilizing Flipgrid to truly meet the needs of her students in the most beautiful ways. And so, Yaritza is not only an educator, but also a thought leader when it comes to culturally responsive teaching. And the ideas that she's been sharing on social media are so profound that we wanted to just make sure that they are being seen by so many around the world. And so the Ask Yaritza series starts today, where you can ask Yaritza your questions about culturally responsive teaching. And she has a plan to be able to meet your needs with resources and videos and blogs. So Yaritza, tell us more.
So, all right, I mentioned already that I'm excited to be here, but I think I'll mention it again, how excited I am to be here. So with culture responsive teaching, this is like the most important aspect of teaching because we're thinking about the student, we're putting the needs of the student, the interests of the student, the thoughts students have, all of it comes first. And we take that and we use that to actually structure our lessons, our activities, the strategies. But also, when you think about differentiation, this is exactly how you meet the needs of the family itself, right? And so I am just, I don't know, I'm blown away by this opportunity. But what's more important is I get to do it with all of you guys, all of my friends, all of the viewers, the Flipgrid for all community. So this is huge.
And
Totally.
you mentioned something really important. When we truly are engaging our students, we always put first and we remember that their cultures really matter. And so just share a little bit about that. What does it mean to think about a student's culture and really infuse that into the learning experiences?
So, as an educator, the first thing that we have to notice is that no two students learn alike, right? We wish that teachers have taken that into consideration when they planned for us way back then. But now, more than ever, students are learning different. They're gaming more, they're more into technology. But because they're more advanced in technology, does not necessarily mean we're meeting all of their needs within the classroom. So, with culture responsive teaching, we're finding ways to tailor our lesson plans directly with what students like to do, the music they love, the foods they love to eat, but most importantly, their communities. Because a lot of what goes on with teaching happens in the community. If you think about when you go out for lunch, right? Some teachers take the opportunity to bring their own lunch to school, while others actually go out, and it's almost like an adventure. You get to learn a lot about students, even from their corner stores. That's all a part of culturally responsive teaching, being able to adapt to the changes around us, but also understanding what our students love most.
I love that. And Yaritza, would you mind? We had a great chat earlier about the differences and similarities between culturally responsive teaching and culturally relevant teaching. Where do they meet? How are they similar? How are they different? What's going on?
So even though they're really similar, they're a tad bit different. When you think of culturally relevant teaching, it's almost like the teacher just understands that culture manifests itself in how the students learn. With culturally responsive teaching, the teacher's actually responding to the differences in culture. So you're differentiating instruction, you're allowing students to share with you their culture, and you're acknowledging the importance of it through your everyday practices, whether if it's how you say hello, whether if it's how you create word problems, or even how you contact and connect with parents. All of that has to do with being responsive.
This and okay, that's a throwback to I think our discussion so long ago. But would you mind talking or sharing a bit more on how you tailor your greeting to each individual student and and the importance around I just remember you saying this and I don't want to say take your words, you tell it. Like say again. So
So
good.
So it's so different. Every student of mine is different. Sometimes I walk into the classroom and I say, "Hey, what's up?" Others I say, "Hey, how you doing?" I know you guys, and I'm saying it now. You guys have heard me say the term "guys" before, and it's usually for girls and young men. And in my classroom, I'm like, "Hey guys, how you doing? Where you been? What's up with the weekend?" And it's not because I'm uneducated, but it's because I understand the culture of my students. And sometimes you may have students who say "what's up." I don't take it personal. I say "what's up" right back. And then you have some students who may just nod their heads, and I'm like, "All right, like I see you too." But that all deals with, and this is the most important aspect, relationship building. A part of culturally responsive teaching is ensuring that you're building relationships with students, because without that factor, I can't teach my students. They're going to look at me like I just have three heads.
Yeah. And, students from different cultures communicate in different ways. And it's so important to acknowledge that the form of communication might be different from yours, but it's not any better or subpar, etc. So sometimes we have to step back and just think, instead of perceiving a student's response as something negative, utilize the cultural differences between the educator, the student, from student to student, as a learning opportunity, right? A beautiful learning opportunity, instead of passing judgment on a student. So I think that's key.
That's extremely huge. Sometimes as educators, we make assumptions. Even like, so I may receive my roster and I can't pronounce students' names properly. Similar to people not being able to pronounce Vijalaba, right? My last name. And we make assumptions on how to pronounce students' names, as opposed to just saying, "Hey, I don't want to butcher your name, so please pronounce it for me." And you may not get it right the first time, but then what you'll notice is kids may not even prefer for you to call them by their actual names. So I have some kids who are just like, "Hey, Miss V," because that's what they call me, Miss V. Can you call me? And it may be some name where I'm looking at them like, "Wait, what?" But then I have to respect that, because as an adult, I would also want somebody to respect the fact that I like being called Miss V as opposed to Miss V Jalaba. So that's all a part of being culturally responsive, right? Acknowledging that there's a ton of differences in the classroom, but also using those differences to our advantage. I love the fact that each and every one of my students are different. It allows me to be so creative. Could you imagine teaching 200 students who are all the same? And we talk about how boring our curricula is. It's designed for teaching 200 students who are all the same.
Yeah. And I'm curious. So being a teacher who really puts culturally responsive teaching first and foremost, what has that done for you personally as an educator, as you're connecting with the students and their families and utilizing their knowledge to drive everything that you do in your classroom?
So truthfully, you heard the term of we're all first year teachers all over again. And a month ago, I actually said, I don't want to be called the first year teacher, because I remember my first year teaching, I struggled because I didn't know myself. Being a culturally responsive teacher and understanding the importance of culturally responsiveness, I understand my identity, I understand my culture, and that allows me now to understand other cultures. Even before this conversation, Jornay, you mentioned the importance of understanding everyone's culture. Before teachers could actually understand the diverse needs of students and their diverse cultures, you have to first understand who you are, what you like. And it's very simple, right? So I know we're in America, but I don't eat the same thing every day. If someone was to ask me, "Yaritza, what do you want tomorrow?" I may say Italian. The next day I may say, "You know what? Let's go to a Japanese restaurant." That's diversity. My palate is diversified. And that's exactly how our students are. We can't think that everyone's the same. And so when I teach, my classroom looks a little bit different. I play hip hop. Sometimes I play salsa merengue. Sometimes you may see me dancing bachata. Other times I'm sipping tea. I'm drinking chai. I'm drinking coffee. I have a Keurig. And the kids usually say, "Miss V, did you have your tea today?" Because tea day is calm day. And coffee, I'm just like jumping up. But it makes them more comfortable with approaching me with difficulties. It makes them more comfortable with understanding we're all alike. regardless of me being an adult or not, we are all alike. And that's my same approach with parents. We're in this together. And so how are we going to best work together to meet the needs of your child? So being a culturally responsive teacher has actually helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about in these like, Jordan, answer your question, but I also want to talk about what's the plan for the videos moving forward. This is episode 1, and what's the plan for the blog? What can we expect? But first, Jordan, hold on. Jordan, what's your question?
I was just like, wow, one thing that you said, Yaritza, that I think every educator who's watching right now can take back. Number one, understand what makes your culture so unique, so that you can understand and appreciate the differences, right, in other cultures. And so when you realize your history, your culture, etc., then you'll be able to really see the differences and appreciate them and meet those individual needs. So thank you for bringing that first and foremost, because everyone wants to know where to start. And that's a great place to start. Have those conversations, explore your own history, explore your own culture, and then take next steps.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. When I was growing up, obviously I was born in Panama, raised here. I had a lot of questions, but some of those questions I couldn't quite ask them because I was so busy trying to learn information and bring back home. Once I got older and I started to question a lot of things, especially in books, it actually turned me into a better listener. I was able to dissect history in a way that I was never taught to do so in school, but I did that first by asking my mom questions that the history books didn't have. And then I started to not challenge teachers, but more of, okay, I finished this paper, now can I ask you a question? And that's all a part of, I believe, what makes every single student unique in their own way. We all may not have the same questions, or we all may not ask it in the same exact way, but trust me, whether that kid is quiet behind your class or did not speak to you for that day, that kid has some questions, and you building relationships with them is what's going to lead them to actually ask those questions. So yes, please understand your culture first so that you can take everything else all in.
I love that. I love this so much.
So what can we expect, Yaritza?
This is the fun part. So every Monday here at 6 p.m. Eastern time, my time, we'll be here. I'll be answering your Ask Yaritza questions. I'll also be showing you guys some resources that I've created because of your questions. And then, of course, I have some articles. I'll do some research because, everything cannot be one-sided, right? I'm not perfect. You guys are not perfect. So this is all a learning experience for us, but I promise to make it as fun as possible. So if you hear me playing hip hop one day in the background, it's just because I'm in one of my moods. As you see, I'm sipping tea. So that means I'm calm, And on Friday, we have the blog post. Within the blog post, I'll actually shine a light on most of those resources. So I'll promise to create resources and add them to the Discovery Library and share them with you guys. Please do not forget weekly to vote on questions, and also to add your own questions, because for some of you guys, I'll be sharing it, especially if you would love for me to share your names. I'll be sharing it on social. So throughout the week, I'll do some pop-ups where I literally just answer your questions or may shoot you a link to some items in the Discovery Library. So please look out for it. Make sure you tag me. Make sure you use the hashtag Ask Yaritza, and I am at your service.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. And, everyone who's on today, just know this is an evolving process. As Yaritza said, we're all in this together. We're learning together. We're growing together. And in that evolving process, we have one thing in common. We want to make sure that the learning environments that our students have are welcoming, safe, and supported. And it all starts with them. So let's get going with Ask Yaritza.
Lovely. Thank you all so much.
I'm excited. Bye, friends.